Hi, I'd like to welcome all of you to hopefully what is just today's practice. I hate doing this because I kind of hate doing this. Maybe there won't be a ton more. We'll see how it goes. So the most important thing to keep in mind for this video and any other videos I might happen to shoot in this series is that your form is far less relevant than your energy. I barely ever care which direction your hips are facing or what your toes are doing unless it's unsafe. And today, even more so. I feel like we just want to lean into the energy of playing in some poses and getting some movement and getting out of our heads. So that said, apparently UGG is going to be here maybe this entire time. My form's going to be off. And if there are some things you don't know what I'm doing, feel free to just step out of the whole thing and then return back to it when you're ready. Let's start sitting however it's comfortable. Legs can be crossed, you can be sitting on a towel or a pillow. And as far as props go, if you have a yoga strap, you can use a yoga strap. I am today using a dog leash because I actually don't know where my yoga strap is. And I'm not even 100% sure we're going to use that. And then I do have open wall behind me because a lot of times I like that as a prop. But if you don't have that, it's fine. Like, we'll figure it out. So starting sitting, let's just take a deep breath in and reach both arms overhead. Think about lots of length between fingertips and tailbone. Exhale and just drop that right hand to the floor. Deep breath in, get lots of length down the left side. Exhale and sink in like you're trying to make the left side of your body the letter C. Breath in, get a little more length. Exhale, take that hand outside the opposite thigh. Deep breath in, sit really tall. Using both hands, get some rotation through the whole spine. My yoga is almost always very wiggly. As I'm twisting here, I might shift a hip forward, I might move my hands. You can do that or you can be static. Whatever makes it feel better. Let's unwind, coming back center. Deep breath, reach your hands overhead. Think about length from fingertips to tailbone. And exhale, sink into the opposite side. Deep breath in, reaching through the side. Exhale, sinking in, thinking about the letter C. When I said UGG was going to be here the whole time, I didn't know I meant it. This literally is really nailing it. Let's exhale and drop that hand to the outside of the opposite knee. Deep breath in, lift really tall. Exhale, rotate. And look back over the shoulder again, moving into it however you want to move into it. Exhale and just release center. And let's roll to hands and knees. If this bugs your knees, go ahead and put a folded towel underneath them. Let's breathe through a couple cat-cow. So breath in, lifting chin, chest, and tailbone. Exhale, like you're pushing the floor away, round everything up. Inhale, drop it down. Exhale, round it up. Releasing to a neutral spine, tuck toes. Let's move into a really easy down dog. Hands are somewhere around shoulder distance. Feet are somewhere around hip distance. I'm always going to be wiggling here. Always pedaling into heels. Always pressing into underarms. You can just be breathing into something static if you prefer. Thinking about heels pressing toward the ground. Hips pressing toward the wall behind you. Chest pressing toward thighs. Deep breath in. Let's just rise up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, push chest back toward thighs. Release heels more toward the floor. One last time, breath up, rising up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, hips and chest press back. And then drop it down, deep breath in. Let's reach right leg tall toward the ceiling. Probably my foot's gonna get cut off from the camera. Exhale, bend that knee so heel comes toward hip. And really think scorpion. Opening in the hips, pushing them toward that side wall. Exhale, let's just unwind, take this leg all the way forward for pigeon pose. We're not super warm. This probably won't be super deep. Let's just hang out. Deep breath in this pose. Think about lifting the chest. Exhale, think about sinking that back hip. If this feels at all uncomfortable, you can throw anything, a couch cushion, a couch pillow, a folded towel underneath that right hip so you don't feel like you're balancing. And let's just exhale, sink into it. Each breath in, we're thinking about lengthening the spine, like you're pulling your rib cage away from your belly. And each breath out, you're thinking about gravity getting stronger. It's pulling your chest and chin toward the floor. It's pulling both hips toward the floor. Hands can be unwound however you want them to be unwound. You can have forehead on the floor. You can have the hands reach straight forward. I feel like a lot of times we think the goal in pigeon is to get our head to the floor. And really the goal is just to open the hips. Just let this feel nice in here. When you're ready, lots of weight in the arms. Let's walk hands back. Tuck that back toe under and push up to a down dog. And I really don't care how you get there. You can wind out of it however you like. Again, hanging in this down dog for a couple breaths. Mine's going to be wiggly. Yours doesn't have to. And exhale. Press into the heels. Press hips toward the wall behind you. Press chest toward thighs. Breath in. Rise up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, chest comes toward thighs, hips go toward wall behind you, sink into the heels. Breath in, rise up to the balls of the feet. Exhale, chest toward thighs, hips toward wall behind you, heels toward floor. Inhale, left foot lifts really tall, three-leg dog. Bend that knee, so heel comes toward hip, and then press the hips forward like you're trying to do a back bend. Breathing in, exhale, unwind, sweep that knee forward for a pigeon pose. Let's take a breath in, think about lifting the chest. Let's take a breath out, think about sinking into those hips. And right here is probably the first time we really want to notice the sides of your body aren't going to match. You are not looking to do whatever you did on the other side. You are just looking for this to feel nice. So maybe you had the other hip propped up, maybe you didn't. Let this hip be its own side. Just do whatever it needs. Breath in, lifting the chest. Exhale, just sink it down. Whatever that means. Maybe forearms coming forward. Maybe forehead coming forward. Again, I'm always wiggling in mine. Deep breath in. Think about lengthening the spine. Like you're pulling rib cage away from belly. And then exhale, like gravity gets stronger. Everything sinks down. Maybe the head and chest. Maybe the hips. Keep thinking about that breath. And when you're ready, inhale, lift the chin, lots of weight in the arms. Walk up, tuck that back toe under. However you want to, just push up to a down dog. Quick pedal in. Sink back into it. Think about heels pressing toward floor, chest pressing toward thighs. Knees can be bent or straight. Knees can be bending and straightening. Deep breath in. Take that right leg toward the ceiling, three-leg dog. Sweep it all the way through the front of your mat. It doesn't matter how you get there. Just plant the foot. Back heel is lifted. Inhale, lifting fingertips for a crescent lunge. Exhale, sink it in. Who cares about form as long as front heel is down, as long as it feels kind of nice, as long as it feels like you're opening. Exhale, fingertips toward floor. Shift the hips back to straighten your front leg. Open up in an easy pyramid pose. And always when I say straighten, I just mean more straight than it was before. Sometimes you still have a bent knee. A lot of times in the morning, I still have a bent knee. Deep breath in, sink into that front knee and hip. Back heel lifts. Inhale up, crescent. Exhale, sink it back down. Open up, pyramid pose. Back heel drops, front leg gets straight-ish. We're going to take both hands to the inside of this foot, and we're just going to drop into a flying monkey. So twist the feet however they need to twist, and you're sinking right hip toward right heel. You can't see because Ugg is totally in the way. Oh, thank you, buddy. That was almost helpful. So this heel can be planted, it can be lifted. Hands can be on the floor helping support you. They can be reaching straight forward. Just thinking about dropping your tailbone toward the floor. If you've got this bind, go for this bind. I definitely do not have this bind. Deep breath in. On an exhale, we're going to shift sides. You can do that hands on the floor, hands not on the floor. Hips can lift up as much as they need to. Sink it in. Slightly better view of what that heel is doing. So again, if your calf's not that open, maybe your hands are on the floor and your heel is lifted. If hips are open, sometimes it feels nice to sink in here. Deep breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, think about tailbone toward the floor where you're thinking about opening up that knee. Both hands come to the floor inside that foot. Lift up, twist it open, and then breath in. Let's lift up for that crescent lunge facing the other side. Fingertips come toward the floor. Shift everything back. Open up for pyramid pose. Again, I'm always going to be wiggly. I'll say that 1,000 times so it doesn't annoy you if you're just watching the video. And so you know yoga doesn't have to be static. If you want to move something, move something. Deep breath in, lift that back heel, sink into front, heel and hip. Inhale, lift up. Fingertips toward floor. Twist it back, opening up to that pyramid pose. Then both hands are going to come inside. We're going to walk the hands around to the front, and when the feet as needed, we're going to come to a wide stance forward fold. So toes are going to turn in a little, heels are turned out a little. Deep breath in, think about as much length in the spine as you can get. Rib cage comes away from belly. Exhale, forward fold. And whatever comes to the floor, comes to the floor. Maybe it's just palms. Maybe it's forearms. Maybe it's top of head. Just breathing into this. Legs are straight-ish. Again, I'm going to wiggle because I like to wiggle. While we're here, deep breath in. Let's walk the hands over toward that right leg. And do whatever you want when you get there. Maybe hands stay on the floor. Maybe you're holding the ankle. If you've got that twisted bind pose, go for it. It's too early for me. I definitely not. Exhale, come through center. Inhale, walk across to the other side. And again, checking, we're not trying to have it match the side we were just on. We're just trying to have it feel nice for this side. Inhale, come back center. Lots of weight in the hands. We're just going to heel toe the feet forward till they're the distance we want to drop to a Hindi squat. So for a lot of people, that's somewhere around that distance. I was actually a little bit worried this video was going to be obscene because it turns out I really can't yoga in pants, and Ugg is totally hooking me up here. So when we get to this Hindi squat, the dream is for heels to be down because it's more comfortable, not because it's the right way to do the pose. So usually, if you have a little bit of elevation in the heels, that just means you want to take your feet wider and maybe heels drop down. And if they don't, cool, probably keep a little more weight in your hands. But if you're kind of comfy sitting here, let's tuck these elbows way into the inner thighs. Palms come together. Deep breath in, lift the chest. As you exhale, drop your tailbone and press your palms together so that your knees come wide. We're just gonna kind of flow through this. So deep breath in, palms to the floor. Exhale, you're gonna take your hips to the ceiling while you turn your heels out, mid-stance forward fold. Again, I'm gonna be wiggly in it. You do whatever. Knees can be bent or straight. Deep breath in. Exhale, turn heels in, drop it back to that heavy squat. Hands to the floor, press hips to the ceiling. I feel like I just want to walk up the wall to a handstand right now, and I welcome you to do the same. Walk over to your wall if you want. Otherwise, just hang out in this forward fold. Plant the palms somewhere around shoulder distance apart. If you've got a kick up, go ahead and just kick up to your handstand. Otherwise, one foot comes high on the wall. Press into the wall. That bottom foot can just lift off the floor, or it can come up to meet the other. Breathing into it. And when you're ready, come on off the wall, ideally with some control, but you know we always do whatever's in there. Let's just come one more time back to that heavy squat. And then in the least graceful transition I've probably ever had, we're just gonna sit. Okay, time out there. So we're sitting and we're just gonna come to some form of cobbler or a straddle if that's what you're in the mood for. Let's start with cobbler. Bottoms of the feet will come together. And I prefer to start this with hands behind the hips. So deep breath and think about lifting chest towards ceiling. Deep breath out, think about dropping knees toward floor. Again, because I'm always wiggling, I like to shift hips forward to get into that. Hang out here. See if you prefer it. If it feels more open or comfortable, you can walk hands to the front, and either way, we're deep breath in, lots of length on the chest. Exhale, we're sinking in, but sinking whatever feels nicer. Maybe it's sinking chest toward the floor. Maybe it's sinking knees toward the floor. And much like I said in pigeon, sometimes we think the goal of this pose is to be leaning forward, forehead on the floor. But the goal of this pose is to open up the hips and have it feel nice. So feel free to hang out in this cobbler if you prefer to move into straddle. Let's just take feet really wide, and I'm going to take this on an angle because maybe it's obscene even without sitting here. So feet are wide, toes are flexed or pointed. Breath in, hands behind the hips, lift the chest. If you need to shift hips forward, shift hips forward. Exhale, think about relaxing. Relaxing shoulders, relaxing inner thighs, relaxing hips, and much like cobbler, hands can stay behind the hips, or you can lean it forward, whatever you really feel like you need right here. Buddy, you are the best sensor. Let's just breathe in. Breath in, think about lengthen the spine. Exhale, what can you relax? Can you relax the inner thighs? Can you relax your breathing? Can you let go of any tension you're holding on to in your body? Always when we're holding on to tension in the body, we're holding on to tension in the breath, tension in the thoughts. Okay, that's enough of that. From either pose, we're going to take this so we have right leg straight, left knee bent in. Deep breath in, we're going to turn toward that straight right leg. And on an exhale, you're just going to lean forward over that leg, whatever that means for you. Again, the knee can have a little bend, the knee can be straight, toe can be pointed, toe can be flexed. If you wanted to use that dog leash or yoga strap, you can take it over the bottom of the foot. And sometimes I feel like this really helps us get deeper into poses because you can be pulling yourself forward into it. If we are using that yoga strap, around the arch of the foot is going to help you get a little bit more into the hamstring. Around the ball of the foot is going to help you get a little more into the calves. Normally, if I'm teaching a yoga class, I would say do whichever one you need more, right? Like I always need more in the calves. Today, I'm just gonna say do whichever one you're in the freaking mood for. Like, just make this feel nice, okay? So wherever we are, deep breath in, think lengthen the spine. Pull that rib cage away from the belly. Exhale, sink it in by thinking about pulling your elbows toward your rib cage. And then we always want that same side elbow to drop toward the floor. I want your inside elbow to drop toward the floor. Get it rounded out there. If you're pretty deep in this and it feels nice, you can take that inside elbow, so left side hand, to the outside of the foot, that baby toe side of the foot. Right hand can go wherever. I kind of like it behind on the floor somewhere. Deep breath in, length, rib cage away from belly. Exhale, use both hands to get rotation like you want your left armpit to come toward the floor. Inhale, wind it up. Walk the hands back. Staying on the same side, we're just going to open it up a little bit so that this knee comes out to the side. This one we're all going to start with the yoga strap and make it as long as you can make it to start. I'm just calling it a yoga strap even if you're using a dog leash, and I'm aware as I'm looking at this you can't really see it on the video, but whatever. So left hand's going to reach across the body and hold this yoga strap as close to the foot as feels kind of normal. We're not digging in yet. Right hand is going to come inside the thigh. It's hard to see with Ug's tiny butt there, but deep breath. Sorry, Betty. Deep breath in. Think about lifting the chest. We're going to take this left arm overhead like a rainbow. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, sink. If you want a little more depth and you're more open here, sometimes we drop to this elbow. Sometimes we walk this hand further down the yoga strap and open up there. Sometimes we're holding onto the outside of that foot. So deep breath in. I want to really focus on this left side of the body. So breath in, think about length, like you want this shoulder to come almost behind the head. And exhale, think about leaning back a couple degrees. Sometimes when we're deep in this bottom right hand, I like to actually spin it toward that opposite calf and twist open there. Breath in, think about shoulder coming behind the head. Exhale, think about left hip sinking toward the floor. Ooh, we're going to slowly unwind. Walk it up. Good. Do whatever you need to do. Wiggling, moving hips, shifting it out. You should feel super uneven right now. We're going to just shift to that left leg. So first, in that single leg forward fold. So knee kind of turns in. Yoga strap around either the arch of the foot or the ball of the foot. Again, whatever you're in the mood for. Deep breath in. Think about lifting the chest. Exhale. Lean in by thinking about pulling elbows toward belly. Maybe walking the hands forward on that yoga strap. Maybe not. Knee is straight-ish. That can be bent. I always have to move my butt out of the way because there's a lot of it. Just feel like you can sink in here. Deep breath in. Think about lower rib cage away from belly. Exhale, think about that inside elbow, so probably the right elbow sinking toward, I'm saying the mat. I don't even have a mat today. If it's opening nicely on this side, it doesn't matter what it did on the other side. If you feel like you want to reach this inside hand to the outside, that pinky toe side of that foot, go for it. Deep breath in, length, wherever we are. Exhale, use those arms to twist like you want to bring that right underarm toward the knee. Slowly unwind. Use the hands to walk it back up. We're going to make that yoga strap or dog leash as long as it can be. This is the first time I've definitely taught with a dog leash. Open this up a little bit more, knee turning out to the side. Holding this leash wherever you want. Just let that arm come across the body. We're not stretching yet. Take this other hand inside the thigh. Deep breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, opening it up. I say it like a rainbow, even though I know it feels like a shit show because That makes it sound easier, even though it's not. Hang here. If you want a little more depth, we are sliding down to that elbow or walking the hand further down. Wherever we are, deep breath in. Think about shoulder coming behind head. And then exhale, lean your body back a couple degrees. Maybe while you're here, you're like tiptoeing those fingers down that yoga strap, but we're always thinking about that opening. You want to feel like you're trying to see the ceiling, even if you can't see the ceiling. Maybe you're flipping that hand toward the opposite calf. Maybe that doesn't feel nice on this side. Maybe you're holding the outside of that foot. Maybe that doesn't feel nice on this side. Deep breath in. Length, length, length. Exhale, let that right hip come toward the floor. Let's slowly unwind. Walk it back up. And then just sit or lay down and somehow feel like you're in that comfortable position. If there's any poses that you feel like you still need to do, I always say this at the end of a regular class, like pop those in wherever. Clearly no one's aware of what's going on right now. And while we're sitting here or lying down, think deep breath in. Where can you find some length? Long exhale. Where can you let go of anything? Again, deep breath in, find some length. Long exhale. What can we honestly let go of? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you liked the class. I hope you got something out of it. And hopefully I'll see you here again really soon because we're all kind of bored. Bye.